everybody, it's Ann Kaplan from Mom Me and Ann Kaplan Childbirth Services, and Family Drama Week is continuing in Mom Me, and today is Wednesday, which means it's my day to talk about birth. And how does our theme this week of family drama affect birth? Well, if you have a kid or if you're pregnant, you probably already have sensed some family drama brewing around your belly. I remember very, very well when I first got pregnant with my first kid and how instantly I went from being just a normal person, it'd be probably an afterthought to many people in my family's minds, to being this vessel carrying the progeny and the next generation, and all of a sudden I was everyone's business. But it really wasn't me that was everyone's business. It was my birth and my baby that seemed like it was everyone's business and felt really, really crappy, to be honest. But what to do when you're in that situation, and I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about that. So, story about me. 4 kids, obviously, and you'd think after the first one I would have gotten this family drama thing figured out, but it's still something that I'm puzzling through even to this day. My broadcast yesterday was about something that happened less than a year ago. But with my third kid, Georgia, we were planning on having just regular birth like we did with our first kid. We had him, or our second kid, we had him in an unmedicated water birth, but with midwives, but it was in the hospitals, actually quite run-of-the-mill on the spectrum of births. But during my pregnancy, I just kept envisioning for myself that I really wanted to have a home birth, and I just wanted to learn more about it and all this stuff. And Mike and I did some research, we interviewed some midwives, and we decided, yeah, this is where we feel comfortable. We're gonna have our baby at home. And when it's really sad to say, but I think most women might have something like this going on in their pregnancy, which is the hardest thing for me about having a home birth, the hardest thing for me about my pregnancy with Gigi was telling my family what I wanted to do. And it shouldn't be that way, but it was. And then I had to deal with people saying, well, why would you do that? It's dangerous, blah, blah, blah. Even my therapist at the time was scared for me because I was going rogue and having my baby at home. So, it was hard. But having done that and stood up for myself was one of the best things that I ever did. And I know that if I had gone back on my plan to have a home birth, I would have really regretted it. And I can tell you hundreds of instances that were like that for me, where I had to kind of basically stand up to some pressure from the rest of our family, whether it was the kid's name, whether or not we gave our son a circumcision, where we had our baby, when we got pregnant, the list goes on and on, I can tell you guys. But I want to give you guys some tips today of what to do when this stuff comes up for you, what to do when you feel pressure from your family. And for a lot of people, maybe you felt pressure during if you got married, during your wedding or something like that, but your birth sometimes is the first time where you're really coming up against the fact that your priorities are shifting now. You're becoming a parent, and that means that your priorities are shifting. Now, I'm going to talk about that in a second, but I understand how hard that can be. So the first step in my tips for you guys on how to stand your ground when it comes to family drama around your birth and how to minimize family drama is my first step for you is clarity. Tip number 1 is clarity. Get clear on who you are and what your vision is for your birth. And I talk to moms all the time who are either doing my Birth Like a Boss program, or we're doing a free consultation or whatever. And they're constantly saying well, I don't know, because I've never had a baby, so maybe I should just listen to what my parents are saying, or my doctor wants me to do this or that, and I don't know, I've never had a baby, so I'm really not the expert on this. Now, think about what you're saying. The rest of your whole life, you know who you are, you know what your beliefs are, you know what your values are, you know how you think about things, you know your who, and you know your why. You know those things about yourself, and if you were to come up against a new situation, you might ask for some information or do some research, but you have confidence in yourself that you know the right path for yourself in that instance, that you're perfectly capable of making a smart and informed decision that's about who you are. But then we get pregnant, and all of a sudden we just throw all of that stuff away, all that stuff about who we are and knowing who ourselves and all that stuff, and we wind up becoming this confused muddled mess of, well, I don't know, who am I don't want to upset this person, or my doctor says this, or my mom wants me to do that, or my mother-in-law wants to be in the room when I have the baby. All of these things are coming into you, and once you've thrown out your identity, once you've thrown out the clarity that you had about who you are and what you're all about, all of a sudden, all this stuff from outside seems really, really compelling and confusing. So the first thing you need to do is get clear on who you are, what are you about, and what is your vision for this birth. And I don't want to hear any garbage from you about how you don't know because it's your first baby. You know the feelings that you want to have. You know what your beliefs are. You know who you are. And if you know your who and your why, how many times have you heard me say this, you guys, on every single parenting issue? If you know your who and your why, the what and the how will follow. So don't worry about like, well, how am I going to tell my mother-in-law I don't want her in the room? Or how am I going to, break it to my family that we're having a home birth? That stuff will work itself out. First, get clear on what you want. Who are you? What is your vision for this birth? Start with the emotions and build from there. So that's tip 1, clarity, get clear. My second tip for you is get confident. My second tip for you is confidence. Get confident in yourself as a mom. Once again, you know who you are. You know what you're about. You need to trust, and this is a fact. It is a factual piece of information I'm about to tell you. It's not just my opinion. Listen to me now. You have everything you need to birth and parent this child right within you right now. You have everything you need. You don't need anything outside. You don't need somebody to rub your back while you're in labor. You don't need someone to take pictures while you're in labor. You don't need to read 1,600 books. You don't need a doula to tell you what to do. You don't need that stuff. Those things are really great and helpful, and we can use those things to make ourselves even more skilled. That's skill. That's not confidence. Confidence comes from trusting yourself. You have everything you need within you already. You already have it. All those things outside you, all those skills, the classes you take, working with a doula, taking the Birth Like a Boss program with me, if I'm working with you, like my job is not to teach you how to do it. My job is to help you find the thing that you already have inside you that already knows how to do it. You have everything you need to birth and mom the crap out of this baby right now. So trust your gut. Your intuition and your gut matter. And you have that whether you've had 1 kid or 10 kids or no kids. You know who you are and you know what you're about and you know what your gut is telling you. If your gut is telling you like, I don't want my mom in the room with me. Trust that, okay? That means something. It's not nothing, okay? There's a million reasons why sometimes having your mom in the room is not going to be the best thing for you and your baby. Which brings me to tip 3. Get your priorities straight, guys, okay? First tip is clarity. Second tip is confidence. Third tip is priorities, okay? Once you are pregnant, once you are conceiving a child, once you are a parent, your job, our jobs as moms is to first and foremost preserve the sanctity of our family and our relationships with our children and our partner. That's it. That's who you owe anything to and nothing more. And it's really, really hard to own that and stand up into that. Like I have a 13-year-old son and I probably think that I really stood up into my job of preserving the sanctity of my home maybe like a year and a half ago. There were just so many times where I got so fuddled and muddled around with other people's pressure and stuff like that. I would wind up sacrificing things that I knew were going to cause problems in my family. And when I say family, I don't mean your mom and I don't mean your cousins or your sisters or your grandma or anything like that. When I say family, I mean you, your partner or co-parent if you're co-parenting, and your kids. That's number 1 now. And all of a sudden, it can really cause some changes in your family and some family dynamics that are pretty tense. For so many of us, for almost all of us, our first birth is the first time that we have to actually recognize that there's something bigger than us. And there's something bigger than our relationships with other people in our family. Like, this is the first time when you're really going to have to face the fact that Your job is to preserve the sanctity of your family first and foremost. Once you have that clarity on who you are and what you're about, once you have that confidence in knowing that you have what it takes to mom this kid, and you know for sure what your priorities are about putting your kids and your relationship with your family first, all that other stuff will fall into place. And it becomes easy for you to stand in your truth to your parents, your siblings, your friends, your care provider, whoever it is that's making you feel pressure or anxiety or fear about your birth or about what's going to go down at your birth or about who's going to be at your birth. How many times have I listened to a client say to me, and I'm really afraid that my doctor's not going to let me go to 42 weeks, or my doctor's not going to let me decline an IV, or my doctor's not going to let me, birth on my hands and knees. The concept of having permission around our births is the concept of us basically being infantilized in our role as parents. We can't do that anymore, you guys. We have to be grown-ups now. We need to recognize, nobody can let you do anything when it comes to your body, your birth, and your baby. Ever. For your entire life as a mother. You are woman, hear you roar, okay? You cannot be going into your birth with this concept of my mom's not going to let me keep her in the waiting room. My doctor's not going to let me push standing up or, whatever. That's not how it works, you guys. You need to stand up and stand in your truth when it comes to who you are as a mom, and recognize that sometimes that's going to mean that people don't agree with you. That's just the way it is. No matter what you choose or what path you take as a parent, there will be a whole army of detractors waiting to tell you what a huge mistake you're making and how dare you. There's no way to avoid that. But the way to avoid the drama is to get clear on who you are, have confidence in yourself as a mom and your ability to do this, get your priorities straight, and then the drama stuff, that's everybody else. That has nothing to do with you anymore. So I hope that's really helpful to you guys. Understand that you can have a drama-free birth. It really depends on how much you want to engage in the drama and how confused you are about how you feel about this stuff. So half the time when I talk to moms about this stuff, when I'm taking the Birth Like a Boss program, or I'm their doula or whatever, half the time we talk about this stuff and we find out one of the reasons why you're having this trouble right now is because you aren't sure yourself what you want. And now all these pressures that are coming in are making you second guess yourself. So the first step is clarity. Second step is confidence. Third step is priority. Take those tips, make yourself a drama-free birth. And if you need help along the way, sign up for a free session with me. Get yourself an empowered birth session with me. I'm going to put a link in the comments below. Get a free hour to get clear on your vision for your birth. Figure out how to make it happen for yourself. Figure out the number one thing that could be blocking you from having the birth you want to have. That's what Birth Like a Boss is all about. That's what my childbirth practice is all about. It's about empowering women to have the birth they want with confidence and ease. So I hope you're having an amazing Wednesday. I hope your life is totally drama-free right now around the holidays. How could we do that? But it's possible. Believe me. My mom's watching me right now. She said, "You actually did that. You made me go back to Michigan." That is true. I did do that, and I was scared crapless to do it, but I did do it, and it was just one of the tiny little deposits in my confidence bank account that I needed to do in that moment. So I was really lucky that my mom kept her opinions about it to herself, even though I know she had a lot of them. Right, Mom? I know you're watching me right now. And I was able to do that. And she gave me the space I needed to kind of build my own confidence and find my own way as a mom. And that was invaluable. Have an amazing Wednesday, you guys. A drama-free Wednesday. Plan yourself a drama-free birth and recognize that drama is your choice. Bye.